I'm on page 55 in the textbook, and we're looking at example number 1. So if you have the textbook, you can read along with me. If you don't have the textbook, I will write what we need to know here. Okay, example 1. In a survey of 500 shoppers, 73% reported doing at least half of their shopping online. How many of the surveyed shoppers does this represent? Now, they show us to change the percent to a decimal. That is not the way I teach percents. And I'm going to go ahead and explain to you, I'm going to use a ratio proportion method because in this method, you do not have to move a decimal in any direction. And for me, that was the best thing to do. Now, other teachers will teach it differently. They may use the triangle method. They may just teach you the rules to do it. When I learned it, I had to memorize a bunch of rules, and that didn't work for me. So you only have to memorize one rule, and that will do any percent problem that you need to do. And here is the rule that you need to memorize. They will not give you this rule on a test. You have to have it in your head. We are always going to put a percent over 100. And I remembered that because this percent sign sort of looks like a funky 100. We've got, there's the 1 and then the 2 zeros. And I could remember that those go together. So percent over 100 equals part over whole. And these are two equal ratios. And that's why this will work. So if you can memorize this thing, you can do any percent problem that you will ever have to do. It's one of the handiest things that I've ever discovered in math. So let's take a look at this example, and I'm going to write it out in a sentence form. It says 73% of 500 shoppers. So we want to know what is 73% of 500. Okay, so we know a percent. The word of is leading us to a whole. So the word is going to go with the part, and that's the thing that we don't know yet. So the first thing you have to do is figure out all of the pieces of your percent sentence, and then you just set up the thing in that red box. So you have the 100 that's built in because that's what percent means. It's out of 100. And we know the 73 is the thing with the percent sign. So we're going to put that over 100. And we know the whole, and the whole has to go on the bottom because the 100% is a whole. That's the most you can have with a percentage. It's per 100. So we have 500 on the bottom, 100 on the bottom, and 73 on the top. And you know what to do from here because you know how to solve a proportion. So we will multiply 73 times 500. Most of these you can do in your head, but if you can't, it's okay. I can't do that one in my head. I'll use my calculator. Now this is going to be a very large number, all right? Don't panic because I'm going to show you a trick. Well, let me show you the proper way, and then I'll show you the trick. So you're going to divide that by the thing that was not in the peanut, and that is 100. So you divide it, and you get 365. So 365 of the people surveyed do half of their shopping online. Now, right now, this is going to seem like a very complicated process. But I promise you, the more of these we do, you will get used to this and it will get easier. All right? You do have to memorize the red box. But once we get through all these, I think you will have memorized it. I do want to say again, though, this is not the only way to do percents. Oh, the trick I want to show you. You can take this piece right here. So we have 365 with 2 zeros, and we are going to divide that by 100. Here's the trick. You can simplify this division problem by canceling zeros. You have to take one off the top and one off the bottom. You have to take an equal number off the top and the bottom. But that will leave you with 365, and that is the answer that we were looking for. So you can do it with your calculator, or you can do it, line it up like that. And as we see more of those, I'll show you more examples. You'll get better with that too. All right, we have example 2 also on this page. So let's try this one. And it's talking about writing a fraction as a percent. What percent of the surveyed shoppers reported shopping online because they can find a larger selection of items? What is that talking? Oh, I didn't read the part above it. I'm sorry. The story is right above it. So let me back up. In the same e-commerce survey, 4 out of 5 shoppers reported shopping online because they can find a larger selection of items. What percent of the shoppers reported that? So they're giving us 4 out of 5 as a fraction, and they want to know what that is as a percent. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this longhand because some employment tests will ask you to do this without a calculator. So if you don't know in your head that it's 80%, here's how you can find out. 4 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 4, so we add a decimal and a 0. And 5 into 40 is 8 times with none left over. Okay, so the decimal is 0.8. And to turn that into a percent, you move that decimal 2 places because there are 2 zeros in 100, and we're talking about per 100. So it will always be 2 places, and that will give you 80%, which is your answer. Now, you can do that on the calculator by typing 4 divided by 8, and that will be, calculator does a leader 0, so it'll give you 0.8. No, it won't, because I've got the wrong number in there. How about 4 divided by 5? That's why I always check myself on the calculator when I've told you it will work that way. So you get 0.8, and then again, you can move the decimal 2 places and add the percent sign. So 80% of the people on that survey said that they can find more of a selection online. There is another way that you can do this, and that's using that concept of scale factor. So, do I want to go here? Yeah, let's go ahead. If you want to raise this up to 100%, you could even do a proportion right there. I'll show you that in just a second. But in order to get from 5 to 100, you have to multiply by 20. And so if you do that on this level as well, you will get 80 out of 100, which is 80%. You can also solve the proportion. So you want to take 4/5 and you want that to equal something over 100. So you would say 4 times 100 is 400, divided by 5 is 80. Now remember, with the proportion method, you don't have to move decimals, so that may be the way to go. But you can choose the way that you like. As long as you get 80%, I'm happy. Okay? And you can pick the method that you want to use to do that. Okay, I'm going to skip the margin calculator problem because we do not use the TIs, and so I'm not going to address that one. All right, I'll see you soon for page 56.